YouTube. This is my video for Friday the 20th of September, and I haven't quite finished my day, and I have a slight problem in that it's too dark for me to see my notes. But I wanted to capture the kind of excitement of the day on the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do as much as I can remember about how today went, and as and when any light appears, I'll quickly look down at my notes for specific stats. But I won't remember much at this point. I'll do my best. And before I get going, I've had in the end, a really good day. But it has its ups and downs, and it's another day where I would say it just makes the job is unique in how good it can be, and it's hard to explain unless you do it what I mean by that. Before I plough into what I've done today, I was talking to a friend today, and I was saying to them that, in my opinion, being a same-day courier driver off the CX, your day kind of stands or falls very often from the last job that you do, or the last job you don't get. And by that I mean you do as much as you can do in the day, and then depending on how your day goes, your last job you get is either icing on the cake, it's extra, or it is going to be just about enough to make the day worthwhile, or it could be the one job that puts you over target, and without that job you'd be under target. And obviously all your jobs in the day combine to make it your target, but it's very often the case where it's the last job of the day which makes or breaks your day. And to the extreme, that happened to me today. So let me go back in time to this morning when it was sunny. Oh, to my left I can see some sort of laser in the sky. So I'm not going to show you because I'm driving on the motorway. That's interesting. I wonder if that's got anything to do with the airport. Don't know. Okay, so first job of the day. It was booked in yesterday, and it was taking a small package from Kings Lynn to Tarpley, I've been told is how you say it. It's between Liverpool and Crewe, or between Chester and Crewe. And it was taking an item from a vet's to a path lab, or a private path lab, I think, or private lab anyway. And that job was 140 odd miles loaded. I was an hour away from the pickup where I live, about, let's say, 25 miles, I'm guessing a bit. And I put a bid on of £125, 125. And that's booked in yesterday afternoon when I was at dialysis. And it's right towards the end of the day, just before 5 o'clock, where I got that job. So it's quite good that I got it so late, because I thought I was going to miss out on that job for today. And the pickup time was 9:30. So I left my house at 8:30, got there in time, 5 minutes to pick up the parcel, and away I went. On the way to Tarpley, I had to get some fuel, I did that towards the end, sort of about 2/3 of the way into my journey. I also got some food when I was there, and so my ETA when I left King's Lynn, if I hadn't have stopped, it was a 4-hour journey. It was saying it was 1:30, but I gave the shipper in my notes 2 o'clock as an estimated drop-off time, and in the end, by the time I'd done my fuel, got my food, and then some traffic, it was 2:10 by the time I arrived at the drop-off point. And they actually weren't expecting anything, so the time wasn't particularly important. So that was an easy drop-off. I then I drove off site, and I was trying to find somewhere to park up to look for local jobs, and I found a little lay-by off an A road, and I had a look at what was there. There's quite a lot of jobs around, sort of the mainly Manchester area, a few from the Liverpool area, and I'm trying to remember what the second job was now. Whether I got it quickly or not. I think I got it pretty quickly, and it was going from, where was it going from? What was it? I'm trying to remember the load. This is where I need my notes. I remember it's £60. So it must have been a lot. It was a long wheelbase. Oh yes, I remember. Yep, it was a long wheelbase van job. I did a minimum charge of £60, and it was collecting from Sandbach, which was around about half an hour from where I was waiting, and it was going to near Chester. And my thinking was, if I did that job, although Chester's not a great place to be, I'd hopefully be there in time to then, for about 4 o'clock-ish, 4:15, then have time to get a job before the close of play today. So I rushed across, picked up the load, and it was, and on the way, interestingly, on the way over, I was thinking about, I should probably measure my van to see how long it is internally in the back from corner to corner diagonally, because I have a limit of 3.5 meters length, but actually I was thinking if I get it longer than that, I could probably put it at an angle, but I didn't know how much I could fit in. I thought if I did it at an angle flat, that's probably a bit more length. If I did it for an angle in like 3 dimensions, like from the front top to my bottom back, so front top right to bottom back left, that would be the maximum amount of distance, and I wondered how much that would be. And when I arrived at my pickup point, there was one item, it was a roll of foamy stuff, and the guy said it's 4 meters. So I managed to work out I can fit a 4 meter roll from the top front right of my van to the bottom back left. It fit in perfectly, so that's quite good to know. There's some lights now, so I'll get some more details. I was 17 miles away from Sandbach when I went to get it, and the job itself was, no, the light's too intermittent, 40 miles. So I got £60, and in total, so it's basically £1 a mile for doing the driving to Sandbach and then to Chester. So that wasn't too bad. So I managed to get that job. I arrived on site at 3:15, and I finished the job. Well, I arrived at the other end at 4:15, but they were locked up when I arrived. So I had a number to call. I called the number, and I was thinking, this is a real shame because I could be off site now, looking for another job before everything stops. And I rang, and they said the guy was going to come back and collect it from me. And by the time he did all that, it was 4:25. So it wasn't too bad. I still had a good half an hour, I thought, to find a job. So I was now in Chester, just outside of Chester, and I felt that if I was to drive towards Manchester, that would be better. So I sort of looked at where the area, and I thought Runcorn would be not a bad place to head towards. But I didn't do it on the motorway. I think it's M56. But I did it on the A road, running parallel to the M56, because I thought if a job comes up in Chester and I'm on that motorway, I'll never get to go back to get it. If I got the A road, there's plenty of chances to turn around and go back the way I've came. So I wanted to do that to give me a more chance of getting any jobs that did come up. So I kind of made my way tootling towards Runcorn. I did make contact with a couple of people, a couple of companies that are in the area, to sort of let them know I was going to be around if they had any jobs for me. And they said they'd bear me in mind. So I sort of drove a bit, stopped, looked for jobs, bid on jobs, drove a bit longer. I ended up in a housing estate in Runcorn, because the WAs, I think it's WA7, I think what it is. I just followed the WA7, it took me to a housing estate. Well, it's not much use. So I looked around, I found a trading estate, and then I made my way towards there, which is about 5 minutes away. And I parked up there, and it was sort of about 4:45, I think by now. And it's really getting quite a bit too late, really. I had a sort of half chance that people I'd called might give me a job, but that wasn't coming through. And there was the odd job that came through that I could have gone for, but to be fair, most of the jobs that came up at that time were from Manchester, and I was a good hour from Chester. I was a good hour away from the Manchester jobs. So once I got to Runcorn, it was nearly 5 o'clock, and it was also dying down. And I thought, I can't go yet. I need to stay around for a bit longer because there could be some jobs coming out of this area. And I did it a bit, and I drove to the nearest supermarket, which was an Aldi. I ended up parking at an Asda. It was quite I think it might have been Runcorn's main sort of shopping centre. I may have got that wrong, but it was close to Runcorn, and it was lots of shops and parking. It reminded me, if you know the area, it reminded me of Merry Hill and the sort of shopping centre around there. So I parked up at Asda and looked for jobs and played my game, and eventually got a bit of chocolate to eat because I was cooking a meal on my in my oven, and that was heating up. I was sitting there, and then I got some chocolate for pudding, and then I was getting to 7 o'clock, and I thought, I'm a bit stuck now. What do I do now? So bear in mind, this was from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. I was waiting here, hoping a job would come up, heading somewhere south or east. And by 7, I thought, I'm not going to have time to go and visit my mum now in Birmingham and in Worcester. So that's not really an option now. I need to think about trying to get home or anywhere. There's a job going to South London, Gatwick it was, and I put a bid on it, and I just thought, I don't really want to do that job. And so I was sort of hoping they would ring me. And then after about 10 minutes, they hadn't rung me. I thought, well, this is ridiculous. You don't really want to do it, so I cancelled that job. And that just would have made my day so long, for not an awful lot more money. Not that I would have got it anyway. So in the end, I cancelled it and I didn't get it. During this time, I did get another job for Monday though. I got a short job for Monday, and then I carried on looking. And just before 7 o'clock, and then around about 7 o'clock, I contacted my partner. Well, she contacted me to get an update, and I just said I don't know what to do really. I can't really just stay here because I've got to be home for tomorrow afternoon to do my dialysis. And I know that if I leave Manchester area at about 8 o'clock, I get to be back in time just about. So, and also being a Saturday tomorrow, there's not going to be any work going in the right direction. So I didn't really feel there was any point staying where I was to find a job for the morning. But I didn't want to just dead mine all the way home, but that was kind of preference. Dead mining to my mum's isn't really suitable, it's not really any quicker. where I was. So I was sort of stuck between two stools, not wanting to leave and not wanting to stay. So I said to her, I'll give it half an hour and then I'll start sort of travelling back home slowly. And then in that time I got another call for a job that I'd been on for Monday, and that was a job I won. And then I realised, oh wait there, I've already got a job for Monday. That's no good. Let's call him back and say, like, I called him back within about 30 seconds. I said, oh, I'm sorry. Before I cancelled it before. So let me just explain. Sorry, I'm rushing it. I've been on a job for Monday. I got a call about it. He said, can you do it? I said, yes, no problem at all. And then he put the phone down. Then I realised, oh wait there, I think I got a job for Monday. So then I cancelled the job before he assigned it to me. And then I called him back, and that all took about 30 seconds. And then I just said to him, I'm sorry, I forgot, I've got a job for Monday already. So yeah, so then it was more like 7:30 now, and I thought, oh, what do I do now? So I was playing my game, sort of distracted by the game, watching YouTube, and every time there's an alert came up for a job, I was looking at it. It became quite an exciting game. Every time the CX job came up, I thought, oh, this could be the one, this could be it. And sometimes it would be a job from Peterborough, or a job going. There's some jobs come out of Runcorn at 11:30, and I just can't do those jobs. They want a bigger van than I've got, and also it's too late. I was thinking, by 11:30 I'll be most of the way home, so there's no point waiting around just for those jobs. And also I don't tend to get them if I bid on them as well, because they tend to want them quite cheaply. So there wasn't really a lot of work at this point, so I was sort of distracted by my game, and then it was 8 o'clock, and I thought, I've got to do something now. And then a job came on, and this is what made me quite excited. So if you've been with me, or if you've been with me on this journey, and you know the sort of ups and downs of doing this job, or if you do this job for yourself and you know what it's like, put yourself in this situation. The job that came up was from Runcorn. I was 7 minutes away, going to Boston in Lincolnshire, which is where I usually try and get my job in the morning. That's about half an hour from where I live. It's a small van job. On the CX, it's 145 miles. So I bid what I thought was a brave bid, although in hindsight it might have been a bit low. I put 90p a mile on that, which I thought was a fair price, but bearing in mind I was the only driver around Runcorn at the time, and probably the only one who wanted to go to Boston, I could have probably got a bit more money. I'm not going to worry about it. I put 125 on, which was based at 90p a mile, and I got the call, and I got the job. And that moment of that phone ringing, and I knew it was that job. I was just so excited to answer that phone and accept that job. It's a small van job, so it's never going to not fit in my van, so that wasn't ever going to be an issue. And I've been there before, once before I think, so I know where to go. And it was lovely. As a little bonus, as it turns out, on my Google Maps, when I put it in, the journey to get to Boston is not actually in Boston, it's outside. It's 133 miles, 133. So I'm almost getting £1 a mile loaded for this job. Not quite, it's probably more like 95p in the end. So, but the main thing is, I'm getting almost all the way home paid, and it only took me 3.5 hours from 4:30 in Chester to get that job. I could have so easily have gone before that point, or made any number of other decisions that would have meant I wouldn't have got that job. Right, there's a bit of light on this road, so let's see if we can see the figures. So my figures for today are as follows. Based on my average fuel price of 12.42 pence per mile. Now also, let me be fully transparent about this. I have put fuel in my vehicle today, but for some reason it stopped filling up, and I then went to pay and I realised I'd only put in about 2/3 of a tank of fuel. So that will have just really ruined my average fuel price. I'll have to wait till I filled up again fully and averaged out the last two figures. So I have to stick to my previous average, which is 12.42. But to be fair, the fuel hasn't gone up from that point. It's still, without VAT, 105 pence and 105.42 pence per litre for my fuel at the moment. And you'd add VAT to that if you weren't quite registered. Right, so how many miles have I driven? So I've driven today, I think it's 423. 423. I need that light to come back to me. And I will have worked when I get home. So it's going to be a long day. It's going to be like 15 and a quarter hours. But as I said, 3 of those was just sitting around playing my game and not doing anything. So I wasn't working for those 3 hours. I'm going to have to do my memory now because the light's gone. But I've done 3 CX jobs and I've earned £325. 325. And my fuel for today, if we just get this light to give me some help, £52 and 58 pence. So that means that I've earned after fuel, I think it's 272. I'm trying to read it, I'm trying to remember it. I think it's 272 after fuel, we take into account. So that's not a bad day, is it? That's pretty good. And obviously, my last job today really did make a difference, both in terms of me getting home and the amount of money that I got today. So I think that'll do. I just wanted to reinforce, I suppose, the excitement of getting that last job at 8 o'clock and knowing that I'll be home in my own bed tonight and being in the right place at the right time. So these things happen sometimes. If you keep on at it, these things do happen. Right, thank you very much for listening to my video, and I hope that you are all being successful, however you choose to define that for yourselves. I haven't worked out my weekly stats yet. I know I won't have made my target quite, but my daily averages will be great for this week. They're all well over £200. But yes, so I can't be displeased with that really. Oh no, Monday wasn't. My Monday was quite bad, wasn't it? But my last 2 days were good. So yes, so thank you for listening, and I shall see you next week. Farewell, friends.